Hey, Woodturners, how you doing today? I'm here in the shop. I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. Welcome to the shop. I'm trying to get some things put together today. And I'm asking that you give me a little patience. Or you have some patience. Or it involves patience. I have none. Or a willingness to change. I don't have that either. To endure, to adapt, whatever. All those things kind of went away. Had a brain tumor removed. And then some of the brain went. So, but we're making great efforts at getting back to normal. Really. I mean, we're working at it. New doctors, some of them, you know, they found things that weren't wrong before. They're wrong now. So they're going to fix them. And we're going to do it. We're going to do it. I need to back into a project and show you how this is done. I need you to be patient with me because it might say, well, you're rehashing some stuff. I sort of am, but if I don't, then I'll... You know the feeling? Well, if you know the feeling, then you know what to do. You got to watch. When I told my psychiatrist, yeah, I have to go to one of those because things don't happen A, B, C, D. No, I'm sorry. Things do happen A, B, C, D in your life. Sometimes the C didn't show up for me, so I'd skip over it, or I didn't have it, and it wasn't connecting. So then we changed the drugs that I'm taking to help me adapt to the change. And I'm bringing this forward right now. It's not a woe is me thing, okay? No, here it is. If you've suffered a traumatic brain injury, a TBI, or had a stroke, or went into a coma for a long time, things like that, you lose some continuities. I really think I found the new end of the spectrum for brain damage. But I'm working with some guys. I mean, there's a guy out of Knoxville, Tennessee, who's done wonders for me because he went through this a year before I did, and he told me a couple of months ago what I can expect and what I should be ready for. Now, because he did that, I went looking for more answers and ways to get around things. And I did this for you, just for you. Because there's no reason you can't get back to that shop. Now, when I came out of the hospital, the doctor said everything comes back, everything works, even a broken finger, everything works. But that was a major accomplishment, and for the neurologist, well, the brain doctor or whatever that was, to say that was a major step for them to say you're all well. Well, I still have a drop foot, I still have a problem with balances, I got this and that, and I'm ugly. Hey, you know, there's some things you just can't get over, but I'm getting over a lot of them because I'm getting the right help. Some of it's going to be drug induced. And I take a pill we call the M&M, and we take a pill we call Prozac, and they're just helping me cope with change. I want to show you that after what I went through, and I can come back to turning wood, you can come back to turning wood, or you can start turning wood. That's the deal. This is a brain-hand function, and I think we can all do it, and we can all do it quite well. I'm going to give you some shortcuts and some tips, and give you a little confidence in saying, I can do it, you can do it, we can do it, it's all done. All right? And I'm not here to harp the products we sell. Big Eye Productions sells cutters, templates, bars, longworth chucks. I'm trying to remember what else. Yeah. I live with my AutoPad with me. Black Hawk jigs, Lazilla plans, kits. That's all that's on the list. But we have all that. That's all available at www.eddiecastellan.com. This is this thing right here. You should put that in your favorite spots. And I was ammo when I was in the Air Force in EOD. And I am one of those few people in this world that made the Air Force worth something because we gave them bullets. Otherwise, it was just an airline flying around. But we gave them the bullets and the bombs and stuff. And I loaded the biggest bomb in the world, 15,000 pound cheeseburger. It's not the most dangerous, it's just the biggest. But all that I learned then, as I'm using now, is there is no hill you can't climb. Now, you might not climb it like the marathon runners. You may not climb it like world champs and all that. No, you're not going to do that. But you're going to get there. And what I want you to do is get off, get up, give it a try, and get there. I mean, if I'm here, why aren't you here? All right, now, I actually went and got my smocks out and everything. I found like a 10 of them out here in the shop. I'm working on getting Lazilla back on. I welded one belt. It didn't work. Gonna weld it again. Hey, it's a little fun thing to do in the kitchen. Yeah, that's right. I go welding in the kitchen. Not too bright, just dangerous. All right, now, I'm going to put these pieces back on the lathe, and I want to show you this because if you have a piece that you need to hold, this is one of the ways to hold it. And always, somebody said, what do you turn? I said, anything my tools will cut and everything I can hold. That is the program. What do I turn? Wood, corian, copper, brass, pewter, plastics. If I can cut it, I want to turn it. But I want to show you how we're going to hold it. It's important. So, watch. Now that you're watching, this is what we're going to do. We have a turned piece. I made this on a lathe. And then I spun it on Lazilla and put those teeth on it. That's a cog. That is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 or 21 logs, bumps on a piece. It's a great pattern. It's one of the original Lazilla patterns. And to hold this, to turn this, is a unique problem. For a lot of guys, they'd give it up and they'd ruin it. I'm going to show you how not to ruin it. Now, let's start with back here in the back. I have my one-way Stronghold chuck. I like the one-way chuck. It's one of the originals. It's very well built. This one actually fell out the back of a truck, and I picked it up on the road, took a dent out of it, and fixed it. Yeah, I just stop and pick up things on the road. All right. And then I turned a faceplate. This is not exotic. It's a piece of mahogany. And I was tearing down a shopping center, and they had handrails outside that were 4-inch by 8-inch caps on handrails. They had to do because the steel rails were below the level the insurance company liked. So they had to jack them up 6 inches. So I brought a whole bunch of this home, and it's handy wood to keep around. I wouldn't throw mahogany away. I wouldn't throw scraps of mahogany away. I'll explain that more in a minute. I put the faceplate, I put a notch on the back of it. How did I do that? Okay. I turned it in the lathe, and you see that piece right there? That little long notch? Right. That is how wide it has to be to fit in the chuck properly without being too big, too small, or anything else. So I turned that and put it into my one-way. All right? Now, we're in the chuck and we're held on. The blue stuff is that painter's tape. And I wanted to redo this today, but guess what? In the last 4 years, my tape has disappeared. Gremlins. All right? But I'm going to show you what happens with this stuff. I'm now got that stub was made to fit in this tooth. But it's going to fit in that tooth rather tightly. You see, it impressed the blue tape to put the notches in the blue tape to give me more of a grab. So I'm holding this thing with nice fingers on the inside with that tape. And because I don't have to do heavy cutting, I'm taking light cutting. And if I did this with a bowl gouge, it'd be my 3/8 inch deep fluted Ellsworth gouge with an Ellie Avocera grind on it. Threw a couple of names at you, didn't I? David Ellsworth kind of made this industry what it is. Ellie Avocera kind of turned it around once it got there. So Ellie came back with this deal that, and I'm going to hold the tool up here. You see that grind? You see the double facet? All right. That double facet is what Ellie came up with. Ellie said, you don't cut with the back of this piece. Like, you really don't. And it never touches your wood. This touches the wood. So this is sharp. I got this out of the way so I can make corners, sharper corners. Think about it, if you took your mama's old Cadillac and went through the shopping center. You had to swing wide to make the corners. Well, with this one, you're in a sports car. You're in a Corvair. And you can swing those corners. Right? So we're going to take the sports car to cut it. Now, if I was doing this with carbide, I would do it with a 3/8 inch bar and a 12 millimeter round. And it's down in there. But I hadn't dug all that out yet, so I got to dig it out. It's part of the project this week. But I would make the cuts. But I would not go straight in. And I have to teach this to you so you understand. I don't cut with a gouge straight in. It's not made to do that. That sharpening allowed me to roll it up on the edge and roll it back and only cut with the tip and slice wood. Good Mark Salade deal. Slice the wood out of the way. Now, to hold it in place, I'm going to bring up my tailstock. This is a revolving tailstock made by One Way. All right, it's out there by a dozen other manufacturers. It has just got 3 ball bearings in it. It's got a stay on it where you can put a pin in it. It's got a 3/4 10. I got to get this. Everything is held around here on magnets. Body wholly good. It's put on with a 3/4 10 thread. See the threads right there? Well, I went to the hardware store down on the corner, and I got a 3/4 10 tap, and I tapped a piece, and that made it work and screw it onto the lathe. Now that is going to be my live center. Why? Because when I get up here to straighten this up, I'm going to bring my tailstock up, put a little pressure on it. See what I got. Too tight. Always have to do it 2 or 3 times, right? No. Didn't allow for it. Alright. This is not running true right now. See, it's got the lopsidoo thing going? Alright. To get it, I've got a center that was marked on it before. I want to go back in that center. So I'm going to turn this live center and bring it up and make contact with it. Now, watch. I'm going to spin the lathe. I'm running true. It's the beauty of what we just did. We're stabilizing the piece between 2 centers. One center being a faceplate, the other center being a soft touch. And I use that term a lot and I call it that. A soft touch on the tailstock. Then I can bring it up here, I can go to work on it. Now I'm going to dress up this piece and reshape this and clean up the bottom a little bit. Because the other day when I was doing it, it was the first time I ran a lathe in 4 years. And I was a little bit nervous. I had some guys here with me and they were keeping on me so I didn't go get hurt or break anything or anybody. Yet walking up to the shop, I fell and broke a finger. But that's okay. Those things happen. We are up and we're running. We're ready to go. I may have to move you for you to see this cut. But I'm going to make a cut with the Ellsworth gouge. Okay? Let's crank it up. Go ahead and ask me how fast it's going. That fast. Well, how do I know? Because I can see it. How many RPMs? Doesn't matter. Really, you have to get over that number thing. It's as safe as I can turn, is the fast as I can turn. So if I can crank the speed up, and I'm way down on the step here. If I can crank the speed up, I will get an even better cut. But I want to take it and clean it off a little bit. I got to stop it because I want to reach over there. An ABCD thing I was telling you about means I don't reach over this machine when it's running. What you're hearing is the tape that's on there. So I'm going to remove the tape off of this and clean it up a little bit. To do it, I'm going to use this monster. This is a Sears Craftsman high-speed steel scraper, 3/4 inch or whatever they call it. There's no magic to this. It's a piece of steel. There's no magic to the high-speed steel on it. It's hard to keep clean and sharp and everything else, but it does work as a scraper. It works pretty good. So, and I have my safety glasses on. I'm going to come in and touch it. I want you to tell me a couple of things here. You're watching. What are you seeing? I'm going to go in a little closer because I want you to see this and I want you to understand it. Are my fingers in the way, or can you see that? Stop the machine because I don't want to do this wrong. You will write me a note if I do it wrong. I know you will, and thank you for that. I'm never afraid of being corrected. Right. Now I've cut away the tape and some of the finish that was on there, and I'm going to keep going to clean up the whole piece. But when I cut this, I didn't put that scraper flat on the table. Why? Because that restricts it to what it can do. Or it tends to make it do what it wants to do. And I don't want either one of those to happen. I want to tell this tool what it's supposed to do. So I rolled it up on a corner and pulled it around. How did I do that? I took it to my belt sander and sanded off that corner. See it? It's rounded off. Can you see it? I'm getting right good spot. All right, that's all rounded off back there. That's the back side. I rounded it off so that when I roll it up on that edge and bring it along my tool rest, it will slide. And if I have a slight depression or a mark that'll do a catch, I go past that catch. If I do this and I hit a depression or a catch, that catch is going to be part of my work. And it might go even more. So this gives me an angled cut, a slice, as you would, a slice to go across this, and I can control that slice by going back and just picking it up and turning it a little bit. And remember, this is the drive right here, moving it back and forth, turns it on and off. That's the way to make a good cut on that. Now, this is sliced. It's not gouged, it's not torn out, there's no pulled fibers or anything. That's what I'm looking for. You probably won't believe me, but what I just showed you is a simple technique that you should change when you use your tools. And I'm going to keep harping on this because I get a lot of phone calls from you wood turners that say, Eddie, I did this and I scraped it and it took and this cut differently. It's not how much sawdust goes on the floor, what it looks like. Look at that. See those little curly cues? They came off of side grain and end grain of a piece of Paduke. Yeah, curly cues. Now if I'd cut that with a regular gouge going in, I'd have sawdust and chips and things flying. They're all okay. But it's not what you want to work with. So I'll show you that you turn that scraper up on the edge a little bit and make a pass on it. You can do it with that scraper. You can do it with an 18 millimeter round. You can do it with a 12 millimeter round. You can do it with a radius square. You can't do it with a square very well. It's really hard to work with. But you can do it with all those other, because you can control where it goes and what happens. I did say you can't do it with a square. I wouldn't sell the square cutters if people didn't ask for them. I didn't put that as I wouldn't sell them if they didn't need them. They really don't need them, but they ask for them. Okay. If you learn how to do that scrape or that slide, and I'll show you this with the Ellsworth, the bowl gouge, the roughing gouge, all those tools can help you get a better finish. Because it's never how much shavings fly up over your shoulder and hit the bucket and show off for your friends. It's what your finished work looks like. And if you get it to where your finished work looks like $1 million, you're happy, man. You really are. You're just so happy because you did what you wanted to do, how you wanted to do it, and it worked out. So we're going to keep at this. I'm going to shape this up, sand it out, put another coat of finish back on it, because now it's time to turn it and put the foot on it. And that might be next, but I might have a couple other projects in between. If it's in this shop and it can be turned, it's going to be turned. I'm Captain Eddie Castleman. I'm making shavings. Hey, this is Captain Eddie Castleman. Let me catch up on a little business now. Forgot to start the right way. What I should have started with is, remember, Waco is coming up. Waco is the Southwest Association of Turners, SWAT. You can bring your automatic rifle. No, you don't need that. No, just go where 30 clubs get together and put on one of the most fantastic symposiums in the entire world. Yeah, we went worldwide with this one. It's a great time. They do some great demonstrators. They do regional, local, national. The people you're talking about, the people you got questions for, you can walk up to somebody like Cindy Drozda or Lyle Jameson or Johannes Mikkelsen or Stuart Batty or, man, I can't, I'm terrible with names. All those people in there, you can walk up and ask them, how do you make this cut? Bring your tool. Let them show you. Yeah, it's that easy. It's SWAT. SWAT. It's August 24th, 25th, and 26th. It's in Waco at the Convention Center. It's a football town. They got places all over the place. 2 positives for me. Number 1 positive is I don't have to pay for parking. Okay? Number 2 positive is I don't have to pay for lunch. They provide you with a world-class lunch. Now that right there is worth $30, $40 at some of the national concerns per day. So knock all that off your thing. It's really great. Now let me get back into this.